Welcome to Meta Tripping, y'all. All right, air signs. I'll be going over the Quantum Self-Care card this month, which is the second card in the Sacred Seed suit, and is You Are Worthy. The energies I'm picking up around You Are Worthy for air signs this month is really a sense of trying new things, is going to bring to you a new lease on life. I think that air signs have been struggling with a sense of placement and identification with the world, and kind of with some of the intense energies. And they are high vibrating, but high vibrating energy can also cause a need for there to address any shadow that needs to be processed within, before these higher vibrating energies can be fully integrated. I think, for Geminis, the energy that I'm picking up for Geminis is Geminis have been having a hard time stabilizing. And this has been probably for like the last 7 months. The way the energy feels, Geminis have been having a difficult time stabilizing. Just a moment. There have been like focus issues. Obviously, this is not every Gemini in the world, but if you're tuning in, then that's who this reading is meant for. So in the pitfalls with this, some of it has been speed related, moving too fast and being met with closed doors. There's been like the way the energy is coming up, there's been a need to kind of step back and reassess the complexities involved in some of the projects and ambitions that one wants to get into, and how to find one's place within it. All right, so we'll be looking a little deeper into that in the extended reading. Libras, as far as the You Are Worthy, Libras have been dealing with relationship issues basically on a level of having to kind of being pushed to the point where there's a need finally for Libras to embrace themselves, as opposed to fall into like the lower vibrational end of the Libra experience, which can be, very people pleasing and lacking in identity. Libras are, by and large, I don't think so happy about it, but realizing that they have to push forward for what they want in life, whether or not they're receiving the help that they think they should receive. That's the way the energy is coming through. And, with pitfalls, with the potential pitfalls of discouragement, the Quantum Self-Care card is suggesting that Libras take a lot of self space, take a load off, and really reassess what you want in life. You know what I'm saying? So that is what's coming through with the Quantum Self-Care card with Libras this month. And Aquarians, the energy that I'm picking up from You Are Worthy with Aquarians is exhaustion. A bit of a feeling of feeling boxed in. Just a moment. Kind of like a feeling of not wanting to go on and push, but almost having no choice but to go on and push, because being idle or sitting back is just, it's not going to get it. It's not really an option at this point. So Aquarians are, on the not high vibrational days, feeling like it's a summoning of all the energy that y'all possess to continue to push forward in life after setbacks and disappointments that have really caused you to feel disoriented from your worldview. All right, so You Are Worthy as a Quantum Self-Care card can be turned into an affirmation. I am worthy. And that is something you can repeat to yourself, because we have self-talk all of the time. And whatever sign you identify with, when you're working with affirmations, you are taking control of that self-talk, and you're not allowing idle chatter in your mind to repeat things that have been said to you that are damaging. you're not allowing yourself to be on autopilot. You are now affirming the experience that you want your third eye to navigate you to, so you can experience what that is like. Your psyche is listening. The more you use these affirmations, the more your mind, because the mind works with repetition, it's going to start repeating these things. Usually it takes 21 days to develop any kind of habit. And I recommend, if you haven't started utilizing affirmations, it is one of the simplest and most effective metaphysical, but also just in general, it's just for health, for mental fitness. One of the best things that you can do that doesn't require purchasing anything. All right. So we're going to start off with Gemini. Okay, so the energy that I'm picking up with Gemini is the Eight of Staffs, also known as Wands, is reversed in the mental placement. So for the month of June, be aware of your mind-body alignment. The 8 is definitely a mind-body alignment, as above, so below number. It's Saturnian in focus, and it does have to do with responsibility. And in the case of the staffs or wand suit, which is a fire suit, it's executive action. It's action that is aimed in the Saturnian way with purpose to meet its mark. Here, with it being reversed, the energy that I'm picking up for Gemini is that there's a lot of overwhelm, a feeling of being overwhelmed this month. In terms of a sense of direction, that's one of the big issues that I'm picking up is, the sense of direction is muddled and almost feeling rushed, or like something is breathing down your back, that you've got to find a direction, you've got to get it together. But I think even more importantly than just you having to get it together is taking a look at why you feel like you're off direction and what you might be avoiding or attempting to avoid that's suppressed in a way that it's kind of rebelling against you. This involves, heart work and going within and releasing angers and disappointments and burdens that you may feel on your back that are your own and can also be generational. I think a lot of Geminis are, the way the energy is feeling, unsure of, they've just been on, this has been going on for a while, unsure of a sense of placement, unsure, just a sense of unsureness, like within self, and a distraction from purpose. And this is, to be expected in an ascension process. And I'm not surprised that, the Gemini sign has been getting, kind of hard hit in certain kinds of ways. But I think Geminis have been through it, to an extent, like at least for over, the number 7 keeps coming to me, like the past 7 months. I think Geminis have just been, kind of dogged in a way. This can be coming from loved ones for some of you. For others of you, it feels like there've been a lot of closed doors where you were open-hearted and well-meaning. And it's left those of you who are finding this dynamic playing out in your life feeling discouraged and like you don't want to participate, which is like so not a Gemini thing. Geminis love to participate. The advice that I would give with this card is to, from the Quantum Self-Care deck, follow synchronicities. All right, follow the signs that are speaking to you. Spirit is saying, like, you got to work on getting out of your head. Get out in nature more. Mm-hmm. find a way to be more in your body is the message. It's coming from Spirit. And you'll feel renewed, Spirit is saying. All right, so definitely the advice in the month of June is to avoid being too much in your head. All right, because I'm finding, especially with the 8 of Staffs being reversed here, off course can go away. It depending on how far or how low in vibration you allow it to go, it can go way off course. I think the answer here for Geminis in the month of June is self-initiating. Just dig deeper into your spirit and that natural enthusiasm that you have, and try some new things. Try some new circles. Those things that have been disappointing you, those community circles have disappointed you, jobs that you're not happy in, branch out and try some new things. Because I think the energy that I'm getting from this is what Geminis have been dealing with is a kind of a lack of appreciation, that by experiencing a new networking dynamic can be broken, and that pattern of not being appreciated can be broken, because now what is bright and inspirational about you can be kind of mirrored back to you and affirmed in the freshness of new relationships. So I definitely I strongly suggest that for the month of June for you Gems. You have the 3 of Cups and heart healing. I think heart healing is so important here, because I think if you allow yourself to heal your heart, you're going to find that there's a rawness and honesty that you've been needing to have with yourself that's going to give you all of the power you require to do exactly what it is you want to do. All right. What's coming with the 3 of Cups in the material matters, finances, karmic relationships placement. The 3 of Cups is, I do think there's some small danger of partying a little too much this month. So if you're fine, 3 of Cups isn't reversed. So, it could serve you well, but the vibe that I'm getting from the 3 of Cups in this case is it's kind of like an escape, to get away from problems you don't want to face. So you want to be guard against using recreation to escape what you need to look at. Let me see. Guard against spending money frivolously. I am also getting that warning with the 3 of Cups. It's very easy to get caught up in kind of the Jupiterian vibes of the number 3 here, but Jupiter is retrograde in Sagittarius, and there's always the advice to guard against spending recklessly during these cycles. Equally, relationships, karmic relationships can become physical, recreational, but lack the depth and leave you feeling unsatisfied this month. The advice is not to overextend yourself or connect yourself in romantic situations or even friendship situations that you don't really want to be in, especially if you don't feel like you can bring your entire self to it, into that dynamic or into that bond. I think the people that you will be encountering on a karmic level are going to be very much focused on like their own thing. And there is for some of you, the challenge that you could end up in situations where you're kind of like I don't know if y'all remember the cartoon, but can we spike? Can't we spike? Where the little dog is walking next to the big dog and is over enthusiastic and obviously way more into the bigger dog than the bigger dog is into him. I'm getting that kind of vibe where you could find yourself dealing with relationships that are not serving you on a level that leaves you feeling satisfied or happy that you got involved in them. All right. And that's for karmic relationships that can come up, or karmic relationships that you're in. Karmic relationships that Geminis are already in. I think those Geminis are at, at their wits' end, like just over it and not really wanting to give anything into those unions. So yeah, so I think what I was picking up on is definitely new potential bonds. Just be careful how you're going into your bonds, what your expectations are, and what you might be setting yourself up for. You have the Tower card for your soul development card, and this is also where soul relationships will show up. And I'm getting that you're going to want to listen to those that you're in soul relationships with this month, because people will be trying to get through to you, and regarding potential habits or ways of carrying out, your life that may be a little too much for them. And the Tower card here, the energy around it is suggesting that you could possibly be dealing with some shocks or surprises in the areas of your soul relationships. Now, when the Tower card comes up, it's a good thing, but it does not always manifest in a way that initially feels good. But the point is to break the foundation, a false foundation upon which things have been built. On the positive end of the vibe I'm getting, how this is going to play out for Geminis this month, is you will have the opportunity to kind of wake up like cleanly, like really wake up and have a look at what it is you need to be doing, what it is you want to be doing, and what it is that's actually fulfilling for you. So this can be a result of the relationships that you're in. It can be big breaks. That's the other thing that I'm picking up for some of you Gemini. There could be some big unexpected breaks this month where you didn't expect it to come, and now you have to step up to the plate and deliver. But I think a lot of you that are experiencing that aspect of it are going to just be as pleased as punch to do so, because you've been waiting for that. Those of you that experience it as an upset, it's really just to shake you up and get you back on track with paying attention. So again, like staying idle, mentally idle this month is not advisable. Get in touch with your body. That's a message that came through from Spirit earlier when I was looking into this. Get in touch with your body. And Spirit was saying like that's going to help you feel renewed. That's correct. Thank you, Spirit. It's going to help you feel renewed and more capable. You know what I'm saying? You want to avoid being in your head this month. The overall card that you received is the Page of Swords reversed. And the energy that I'm getting around this card, that confusion, a bit of fog-headedness, not really feeling like you know where you're going, and also some risks of being naive in situations. So, a little more listening to your gut can help you to, kind of not walk over the proverbial cliff in certain situations. It is to your advantage, Gems, to do a lot of grounding and get out there and enjoy these new moon, waxing moon energies that started in your sign as a nice breakaway from all of the heavy energy that we've been dealing with for so long in this ascension process, because that's what it is. Now, adjusting to this new energy is a different thing, and I think it's been very jarring from what I'm picking up for Geminis. As positive as some of these energies certainly are, I think it really has contributed to a state of confusion. So while your energy body is calibrating, do your best to stay active, because that's going to help you to stay like vibrant and vital and keep your chi flowing. You definitely don't want to do any overthinking this month. And as with any time, I will always advise, do some affirmations that are empowering and code your brain for this next new cycle, because, the new cycles every year start in Gemini for your thinking. It's the first air sign. All right. So if you're taking the time now to do your I am, present tense is always the rule of affirmations, and feed yourself positive messages. Just look at it as like these are your destination choices, and select what it is that you want. I am enjoying the variety in my life. You want more variety in your life. You want more abundance. I am enjoying the abundance in my life. and go into a feeling mode. Do it after you've watched something funny or something that you enjoy that puts you in a nice high vibration. And then do your affirmation session while you're feeling that good, and keep the vibe as you're creating this thought frequency. Keep the vibe up. All right. The other thing, for those of you that identify as starseeds or are really, really interested in the ascension end, how this is affecting Geminis, the 3D focus is what's coming up really for air signs this month. And so basic things like self-empowerment, motivation, drive, individualism on a level of being your own personal hero for your own life. Some 3D concerns that have to do with finances, interactions with others, power struggles, avoiding power struggles when perhaps honest things need to be said. Those are some of the focuses that will be coming up this month, for the month of June. And the way to offset that, Spirit is saying, is from an 8D kind of perspective or mentality, which is being the author and master of your own life. And it may cause you to dig deep, and there may be some material concerns that some of you have to, or a lot of you have to address, just with your financial life and being on top of your game. But getting into that strongly empowered root energy, because 8D, is above the crown chakra, but it's also very like Saturnian in nature, and it's higher focus, which is you really being the master of your own life. And so that is a very positive focus to focus on and help to keep yourself going. I hope this was helpful, and thank you for tuning in. And I will be back in July with the July 2019 readings for the Zodiac signs by element. Peace. Libras. Okay, I'm going to shuffle for you. All right, Libras. Well, by your overall card, there are some things that you were letting go of, that you were holding on to for reasons that were not to the benefit of your heart. May have been holding on to them for ego reasons or reasons of really wanting stability. But we'll get into that in a moment. What we have in your mind placement is the Two of Cups. And what I'm picking up for Libras is Libras are realizing that they're seeing their partnerships in a different sort of way in the month of June, and coming at their relationships from a more compassionate level. Like, Libras have had some challenges in this ascension process this year, and it was definitely coming up. I think it might have been, around the time of the Libra full moon, where there was a lot of stress. And I think Libras are calming down and learning to listen more to where people are coming from and process it from a different place that isn't necessarily air related. So it's very healthy energy. I'm seeing Libras. Just a moment. Coming from a place of really wanting to feed, really wanting an emotional intimacy is really what it boils down to. And so this is like at the forefront of the mind. Now, this can be in romantic relationships. It can be in family relationships. It can be in any relationship really that manifests as a one-on-one that is wholesome and true and emotionally intimate, and not just being with someone for the sake of being with someone and twisting your identity around to please, a partner, only to realize like you're giving like 75% of yourself away and you're not getting anywhere near the same amount in return. I'm also sensing a lot of emotional honesty and forthrightness coming from a lot of Libras in their relationships, where instead of it becoming a blame thing or feeling undertended, like you're not being tended to properly, you're now willing to say that, but not coming from a place of anger as was coming up in previous months, but coming from a place of not even wanting to be heard, but deciding to be heard is what the energy feels like. Deciding to be heard, and whether it shakes the waters or not is irrelevant. There's a desire to be honest and also to be invested. So I think this is very healthy where Libras are, for their relationships, where in those relationships where you have a balance of emotional intimacy, you have these wonderful possibilities to reach understanding with your loved ones here. And it's at the forefront of your mind this month. For those situations that are not equal, you have an ability to let folks know that how you feel about the imbalance, but it's not coming from an attacking place. It's really a wonderful energy, and to me it's like a true Libran energy where you're in a high vibration and you've dealt with your emotionalism to a point where what needs to be said, but you're able to do it from a calm and collected place and in a way where you're kind of speaking soul to soul as opposed to ego to ego. In karmic relationships and the 3D placement, and material relationships, there is the Six of Cups coming up for Libras. The Six of Cups has a nostalgia to it. The energy that I'm picking up here for Libras, though, is there could be a looking back to fonder times or even certain structures in childhood, family structures, community structures, adult, relationships that you saw around you, where there's a certain way that you would like to see your life running, like in a very adult way. And you're drawing from the past, in a good way to kind of approach, your present, to kind of be inspired in your present in the way that you behave. And it's helping you to keep your emotions at an even keel and to keep things on a friendly, harmonious level, like without sacrificing yourself, because I'm getting very strongly at a point where the self-sacrifice for like no good reason is pretty much a thing of the past. Even if you have flare-ups every now and again, there's such a strong point within the self, where Libras are just not trying to give themselves away anymore. So it's very healthy relating and inspirational even. On the money front, I am getting that being wise with money is a good idea and you're well aware of it. So, be wise with money this month. There are ways to kind of enjoy like the luxuries that you like without breaking the bank. And you may not like that very much, but I think this month, what's necessary. And I also get the vibe that a lot of Libras are going to be handling it accordingly. They're gonna do what they have to do, even if there are some frustrated moments, with finances. For those of you that find you have to budget, and it's coming up mainly as the main energy that I'm picking up around finances. I'm picking up kind of a, keep going energy, and, you're all right. You know what I'm saying? But, don't maybe avoid rocking the boat. Karmic relationship energy that I'm picking up you were just on some non-conflict to the best of your ability. So for those Libras who are dealing with people who want to be about the conflict, I'm just getting a tune out. I'm getting like an energy where Libras are just turning to something else to pay attention to and just not engaging in conflict, which is a beautiful thing. And I'm seeing that as an overwhelming energy, and it's very healthy. I do see some Libras maybe sticking around in karmic relationships from a patience angle due to nostalgia and due to understanding some of the quirks of their partners, some of the quirks of y'all partners. Not so much that the patience is running thin, but that there could be some childishness coming from the people that you're dealing with, and you kind of have to be the adult this month. But you're also knowing when to pull back, when you need to pull back, or when you feel like you're approaching a certain point where your radar, your alarm's going to go off for the temper level. Soul development is the Five of Staffs, aka Wands reversed. And I'm getting that kind of the disorganization and chaos that can come from others this month can be a very strong sense of unease. It can knock you off of like your calm, cool, collected vibe that you've been working on this month. So because you're not going to want to have to clean up after anybody, and these are the areas where you're really going to have to work on your patience and try to navigate your way through. Take your self time, take your space to pull yourself together. Don't do everyone's work for them. This is a great month for like, you just get into your Zen, handle your meditation. Is there any advice from Spirit coming from the Five of Staffs? Spirit is saying you need to do what's good for you. And those who aren't being fair to you, Spirit is saying, like, take your space from them. Spirit is also saying for soul relationships, there can be minor skirmishes, like little arguments, but nothing serious. And really, they just have to do with frustrations. And I do think in most of your cases, even though sometimes the energies can overlap and invert, I think in most cases this is coming from whoever Libra is dealing with, where whoever your partner is or your soul partner is having some issues with chaotic energy and their own frustration, and you're having to kind of be the calm, cool, collected one, or the one who has to take some space and process so that you don't have to have all that in your energy field. The Four of Coins is your overall message. And what I'm getting from, it's reversed, by the way. And what I'm getting from this is there are some areas where you will be courting the idea of cutting your losses, of things that you hoped would work out, wanted to work out, but you've grown really impatient with, and kind of don't see a solution in sight regarding. I think a lot of you are going to be hesitant to let go, but that theme is certainly going to be there, even if you're just letting go for a little while. And I think it's going to be hard for those of you that are dealing with this overall energy of like letting go. But on a spiritual level, on an energetic level, the letting go process is going to be helpful to you where it needs to happen, because you have been holding a lot of tension. I know from the readings that I've done since the channel started, like Libras have been dealing with a lot of tension past couple of months at least, and you're coming to your senses in June, and you're reprioritizing from a calm, cool, collected, and really inspirational place. Like, maybe I need to get some Libras around me this month. All right, y'all. I hope that this is helpful to you. Also, really quickly, 3D energy, for those of you that identify as starseeds, is what I'm picking up, or what Spirit actually confirmed when I pick up for this month. 3D energy is dealing with, a lot of your solar plexus issues, your vitality, your drive, your motivation, your personal power, you striking out on your own, persevering, your autonomy, your third dimensional concerns. Sometimes power struggles can come up here because those power struggles teach you how to be within your own power. And remember, the quantum self-care card for air signs this month is I am worthy. So you're dealing with issues of your own worthiness, and continue to, turn that into an affirmation. I am worthy, and start every day with do 10 reps of your affirmations the same way that you would, go to the gym. Because this is going to help you to be clearer about what it is you need to do and gather enough fire within yourself to do it for the betterment of your life. Thank you all for tuning in. Aquarians. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So what I'm seeing here for Aquarians out the gate, in your air placement, you have the Five of Swords reversed. And the energy I'm picking up around this is situations which you feel trapped in or felt scared. Felt some fear of, what is this energy? Of leaving because of the stability of it. Or the feeling of stability it's given you. There's a sense of wanting to see what's out there and expand, and you're no longer afraid to that end. And drawing another card, you have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is the energy that I'm picking up around that. You're wanting to be inspired again and have fun, and just a moment. And be included. I think, some friendship kind of, and at least harmonious emotional bonds are needed, really kind of needed this month. I think Aquarians have gotten, a lot of you have gotten down in the dumps, and you've now reached a point where it's like time to get up. And I think the energy feels like, to me, like it is hard to do. Spirit is saying, believe in yourself. And that resonates with me, because I do think this has a lot to do with self-belief and a bit of courage, and having to dig a little bit deeper, which Pluto in retrograde will have you do. That's what Pluto in retrograde has been, pushing, and Saturn in retrograde can also cause you to dig deeper in certain areas, but Pluto in retrograde especially, where you have to dig deep for your strength. And I think Aquarians have not felt as inspired as they generally appreciate, as you all generally appreciate feeling. Yeah, overall, the energy I'm picking up in the month of June is it's kind of like you're having to get up and force yourself to get out there. Kind of feeling like if you don't get up, like you won't, you know what I'm saying, get up. Like you'll just potentially go into levels of kind of emotional fatigue and exhaustion, and going back to a place that you're emerging from, that you don't want to be in anymore. To see what else is out there with kind of a sad hopefulness. So, peace and blessings to all of you in your journey to kind of rediscover, because I think what this is doing for you, it's like the universe is asking, like, how long do you want to kind of sit there and go over the things that aren't serving you, you know what I'm saying, or matters from the past, or anything that's been holding you back. Like, how long do you want to sit in that? How long do you want to carry that baggage, or allow yourself to be boxed into a situation that is draining the life out of you? See what else I'm picking up with this card. Yeah, I see a lot of you just being brave and just casting fear aside and deciding what you're going to do next. I think this is a very mental thing, more than it is driven kind of by any fire in your gut. This is more a concerted decision to push forward and find what's out there for you that's going to work, and to commit to finding what's going to work. That's the energy I'm picking up around that. The Four of Staffs is in your finances placement. So I am picking up on financial opportunities and interest coming for you from groups, could be old associations as well. And there's rite of passage energy to it. And I think this is the universe assisting you, like, are you ready to get back up again? This is really what this feels like, vibe-wise. And I think the love that you receive there in your area of career or personal projects that you work on that, are maybe a little more 3D, in nature, that this is going to give you kind of I guess I could describe it as a phoenix rising experience. It's going to give you a realization that you never lost anything. Like, you may have been dealing with losses, but through these rite of passage, or these rites of passages that you'll be going through, it's going to bolster your courage and build you up and give you that ambition, help you to build that ambition again. And that's very positive. Financially, I think this is going to be a better month than previous ones have been for a lot of you. Some of you may be afraid to spend just with the previous financial seasons. And even though Jupiter's in Sagittarius retrograde, and the advice is not to gamble money away, I think that you probably could, the money will be decent enough where you could do a little extra spending. But I'm thinking a lot of you are probably going to be more careful. Just some of these Saturn and Capricorn lessons that we have learned about spending money appropriately, and why, when it's a dry season, you'll be so glad you did. Let's see what else I'm picking up. Karmic relationships. I think a lot of Aquarians are coming to terms with the overall lessons karmic relationships have issued to them, without pridefulness, without it feels like more of a sense of acceptance and some degree of self-reflection is in there. So it's really quite positive. What you're working out on the physical level, the earth level, and your natal planet, your ruling natal planet for your sun is Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus. So it's not surprising to me that you're being a little more frugal, or you at least feel like you'd like to be a little more frugal, and that you are being a little more level-headed about any disappointments in karmic relationships that you've had, and the part you played in that role, where you're coming into an acceptance of it, from a very sober kind of place. I think it's healthy, and I think the energy I'm getting around this is growth energy, and a lot of self-reflection energy. I think some of these karmic situations, and those of you who've been dealing with karmic relationships, what these have brought up for you is for you to really look at yourself and really have self-worth. So it really does resound with the quantum self-care card, I am worthy. I think you're realizing that you have been running away from, as much as many of you have probably been running to the light, you've still been running away from it. And it's caused a disassociation to some extent with reality, that now you're coming more in touch with reality in a different way, and in a way you can appreciate, because you are under a vibration of high intellect, being an Aquarian, so you can handle this kind of math, and I think this is going to help you move forward strong like bull, like the Taurus, strong. I think you're going to be able to move forward very strong in this season, because your courage is going to be rebuilt, and you're going to realize you haven't lost anything. You've lost nothing. You're in such a healthy way processing the lessons that have told you to be aware, or showed you to be aware of where you're signing on the dotted line and what those agreements mean. In any, whether it's an actual written contract or it's a verbal contract, where you're learning to pay very close attention to the fine print before you commit yourself to something, because Aquas have you do have a very deep capacity when you open your hearts. And this is most Aquarians, from what I have seen in my metaphysical studies and with clients, have trauma issues that the average person could not handle to process in life, and typically at a young age, and having to deal with reversals of fortune and the way Uranian energy has typically dealt with things, and still somehow have a smiling face for the crowd and be this excellent friend, because you are the sign of the friend, and most of the Aquarians I know are excellent friends. You know what I'm saying? Some are also, excellent in partnerships. Others need work in that area because there's some heart opening that needs to take place because of those traumas that happen in early life. But there's a richness and a beauty to what I'm seeing here, and bravo. Moving on to your soul relationships, you have the Ace of Coins, aka Pentacles, reversed. And the energies that I'm picking up for the month of June around this, a lot of reassessing is coming up. Some soul relationships that have deeply hurt you, a lot of you are taking a step back from to reassess. A lot of you are a lot more quiet than you have been in the past regarding these things. You're working to try to understand your feelings and your reaction to your soul partners, whether you're in active relationships with them with a title on it or not. You're soul searching and trying to understand what it means, these connections. See what else I'm picking up. There can be misunderstandings that arise this month. But if you, the misunderstandings that arise, it has a lot to do with not hearing clearly, or moving to either you or your soul partner speaking too quickly before digesting what was just said from the other party. So if this is you, then working on your listening for areas that have you really charged up, or if you're in a very overly passionate place that month because you're processing some things that are challenging, just make a concerted effort to mentally decide to, make sure there's an equal exchange of listening and sharing, listening and expressing. And if it's the other party, then find a respectful way to let them know that, you kind of feel like they're stepping on your sentences before they've even had a chance to digest what you've said, and you can approach it that way. I think the overall theme that I'm getting from the soul relationships that Aquarians are working through this month is that really, you want to be living the life of your dreams, and you're questioning which relationships are going to get you there and which relationships are too heavy, which relationships are meaningful enough for you to invest your heart in them. For those of you who have just started new relationships, there can be some early disappointments that are putting you on pause with certain people. And the advice there from Spirit: don't rush in too fast. Heed the signs. In the case of those who are in established bonds, the energy here in the areas of finances, there may be some reassessing and maneuvering, having to work together to reassess and kind of renew the approach to your shared finances without getting into any inadvertent conflicts about it. So watch that. It doesn't have to be that just one person is steering the ship. Just work towards doing your best to communicate respectfully. And also in the romantic area of established bonds, there can be either the Aquarian or the other partner dealing with issues of feeling like a lot more is on their back than on the partner. So these conversations need to be had because there is a strain on some of these soul relationships that needs to be addressed. And as opposed to bottled up or, you know, having someone feel like they're trapped. The advice from Spirit in those situations, Spirit is saying give it time, it'll iron out. Spirit's saying you're both finding your positioning in these new energies. So keep that in mind. We are dealing with ascension energies. And the 3D focus this month is clearly saying that, you know, you're dealing with solar plexus issues, you're dealing with autonomy, stepping up to the plate, finding the right way to respond in power struggles, navigating your way with 3D issues such as finance and just living in at the 3D level of things, but finding the best way to deal with your personal power without it coming from the wrong end of the ego. And that's that third dimensional energy that air signs are working on this month. So as an overall, you have the Four of Cups reversed and the Ace of Cups. And the advice is really to pay attention to your emotions. The Ace of Cups is telling you to open your heart, open your emotional floodgates. Spirit is saying trust your intuition. Thank you, Spirit. I'm getting that there's a lot of unburdening that needs to take place on an emotional level. Let loose, let those tears flow. And keep your heads up. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this was tremendously helpful to y'all. And I will be back in July with the July 2019 readings for the Zodiac signs by element. Peace.